Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are out of the sprayer on and we are back in, you might have seen the video a couple of weeks ago, last video it up, we were trying to get some winter barley sown and struggling with trying to get it sown. We had struggling with the wet, just trying to get it sown. The ground was still in the process of drying out. Got to the point where we were just about dry enough to get it sown, and we got it in good enough order that we were able to get the drill in and get the crop in the ground. Well, it's now about 2.5 weeks later. We've had very little rain since, and you can see that the crop is very nicely established now at this stage. Now it has only just literally got its first application of fertilizer on Wednesday. It's now Friday lunchtime, so it's not even 48 hours since it got its first application of fertilizer. It got just nitrogen. It's not getting any P and K. The P and K is going to be received from the chicken dung, as is some of the nitrogen a little bit later on. Once it starts to work on it, we put about 5 ton of chicken dung to the acre on this, so that should give it a good blast on a little bit later. But yeah, we wanted to get some nitrogen on. We got that on Wednesday evening, as I said. Wind conditions then picked up quite drastically, and it stopped me from getting the spray on that I wanted to get on. We have a weed spray to put on, which there's not much weeds in it, but I suppose if there's any ones that's coming up, it'll just nip them in the bud at this point. And also we had a growth regulator we wanted to put on at this stage to help the crop tiller out a wee bit, and also just it's not getting very much at this point. It'll probably get another squirt of growth regulator a wee bit later on. We're just kind of conscious that with the chicken dung, we don't want it to get up too big, too tall, that it might go down later on. So yeah, you can see already what the nitrogen a few days ago has done. It got a little bit of rain last night. Hasn't been much sunshine really the last couple of days, quite windy, and little spits of rain up until, it must have done a decent enough shower of rain during the night, because you can see what this has greened up already in the last not even 48 hours. So yeah, just interesting to see how it's getting on. It was sown quite late, but if the weather conditions right and it hits the ground running, which it has at the minute, gets a bit of rain, which it's going to get now over the next couple of days, and maybe a bit more heat next week, this crop could do fairly well. So it'll be interesting just to keep an eye on it over the summer and see how it does. There was spuds in it last year, so it's quite rough. You'll see there's a little bit of misses here and there on the GPS, which you usually don't have, but because the ground was quite rough, it was kind of pulling the tractor side to side, and the GPS was working overtime trying to keep it in a straight line. Now it done a pretty good job, but there is a couple of wee spots just like along here where it's inched out a wee bit. But yeah, look, it's not the end of the world. It's just kind of the conditions that it was in. But yeah, at least that's that. Moving on from here, we are going to be going home. We're getting ready for silage, hoping to get that done next week. So I suppose the handiest thing is when we get back home, we'll do a little update and have a look and see how we're getting on at that. Alright, so before we get looking at our grass silage preparations, we're going to get looking at a different enterprise that we have taken on this year, and that's maize silage. We've decided to grow 20 acres of maize silage, which is mostly for our own needs. We've always fed potatoes over the last couple of years. Harder to get them, and it's something we've been trying to do, is start growing our own maize silage, and that's what we've done. So we've put 20 acres of it in altogether, just over 20 acres of it, and 8 acres of it here is on the plastic, which you can see, and the other 12 acres is just sown normally. So it's going to be interesting to see the comparison of the two as the year goes on and see how they do. Ideally we would have liked to have grown it all on the plastic, but plastic has just been an issue getting it this year. There's a lot more maize planted, which has meant there's just a scarcity of plastic. Couple of reasons for more maize planted. Biggest reason is probably the poor weather in the back end of the year last autumn, weren't able to get your winter crops in. Poor springtime, you couldn't then plant a spring crop when the weather did dry up. It was actually starting to get a little bit late even for maize by the time that the weather picked up and you started to get it in. So it was the best option for a lot of farmers, and they've just planted more of it, and it's just meant a scarcity of plastic. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it does, as I say, over the next 12 months, and we'll have a good comparison too in how a field planted under plastic does, and then a field planted just no plastic. So we'll just keep an eye on both. Yeah, the plastic itself is that new biodegradable stuff, which is it's just absolute rubbish, to be honest. We'll just put a bit of a hole in it here, and you'll get to see the plants coming up there under the plastic, versus there's some plants here that is out in the open. So they're probably about 3 to 4 times the size. You can see them there, they're quite tall compared to the other ones. The other ones are just starting to make their way up. So yeah, as I say, it's going to be interesting to see how it does. Yeah, it's good feed. It should be valuable acid in the ration, and looking forward to seeing what it's like in our ration. I think the cattle will be quite happy with it. So that's that. I said I could show you a quick look at that before we moved on to their silage preparation. So we'll go check that out now. On to silage preparation. So we've been cleaning up, greasing up, tractors, getting them ready, which is more or less done. We have 3 tractors ready to go. Silage harvester is out, washed, and all greased up, ready to go. There was one little issue with a grease nipple in one of the bearings on a feed roller, just there at the front. It just wasn't maybe taking the grease 100%. There was grease getting into it, but there was some coming out around the sides of it. So I'd say the grease nipple itself just needs replaced. But other than that, the JF is ready to go, which isn't too bad. Mower, the trail mower is washed, greased, ready for action. Blades is 100% on it. The other mower, which was moved out of the shed about 2 months ago, and it's sitting here ever since, it has to be hooked on. There's only 6 or 7 grease nipples on it altogether. And just check the blades. There might be 1 or 2 blades that needs replaced. So yeah, it's not the end of the world with it. 3650 is ready if needed. It'll probably be doing a bit of the mowing. Yeah, trailer. 2 trailers are ready. The Smith trailer down the bottom, there is no silage sides on it, but it's quite big. It'll hold plenty of grass even without them. We have sides kind of for it, or some sides. We're going to get them modified that they're not just as high. But that's not done yet. Yeah, so it's ready to go, and this trailer here is basically ready. It's all washed out. Tail door is on it. I'm going to wash around. Just going to wash around the chassis of it and the underneath of it, and I put the tail door on it yesterday, and it can get all just give it a wash as well. But yeah, other than that, it's just been laying off from last year. Other than that is ready to go as well. Teleporter did get a hose down, but I'll probably give it another quick hose down just before it goes on the silage fork, and we'll grease the headstock of it, and then the wheels has to go on it. So yeah, that's a couple of jobs that just has to be done a wee bit closer to the time. The silage pit is more or less ready. We've done a bit of cleaning around here yesterday. I washed around here yesterday. Peter washed the main part of the base last week. So yeah, we're progressing on nicely. Now there is a pile of silage laying out in the middle of the pit. I'll show you why that's there. We'll have a look at that now. So why is there a pile of silage out in the middle of the pit rather than back here against the wall where it was? Well, there's a reason for that. You might remember last year we moved the wall that was running along here and pushed it back a bit into the older second silage pit we had down the bottom to make their original silage pit just a little bit bigger, which is a good job. But we had a little issue with it. There's a track that runs right the whole way down here. The whole thing falls back here to, you can see a 4-inch pipe that goes down to the ground. That 4-inch pipe takes the effluent over into the cow's tank. No problem, great job. In the extension part, the whole floor all falls back to this 4-inch pipe, and we put similar kind of track along here. Pipe can go into it. Thought it would work well. It didn't work well. We had some effluent now. Some of the silage last year was quite wet going in. It was a wet year. And what we found was when the second cut went in, we had some effluent that was running out and finding its way out somewhere between the wall and the asphalt. I don't know how, because it is all sealed. You can see here we're trying to power wash it off. Because it's sealed, the grass is all stuck to it. But it still found its way. See, there's the sealant there that goes from the wall out onto the asphalt. So the water was finding its way out. It was going in next door. We have a small pit that's left in there. We'd use it for tipping. Well, last year there was feed potatoes in it, there was feed carrots in it, there was beet in it, just depending on the time of year. So it was getting in there. You could see it. It was kind of some of the potatoes and stuff at the back, they were lying in that. They got a bit soggy themselves, and what didn't soak into the potatoes run down the yard a bit and damaged the concrete in the yard. So there wasn't that much, but there was a bit, which was quite annoying. So we run the track over to here. We thought that by taking it to here that the water stroke effluent would find its level, find its way to here and go down and go into the cow tank, which it didn't. So for this here, we took out, well, first thing we had to do was take all the silage that was here against the back wall. There was only about the width of a grab anyway, there wasn't that much. There's about 3 foot left, I suppose, 2.5 foot left of the pit. Took it all out of the way, and we're going to run a pipe basically from up in that corner down here, right round, and take it the whole way down, so that at least we have a pipe there that can take the water back. It obviously sealed, maybe it was the wet year, I don't know what it was, but it sealed anyway that the water couldn't get back this way, and it seeped away onto the wall. So it's just one of them things. But to get it sorted, we had to take the silage out. Something wrong with the silage. I took it out there a few days ago. It did rain quite heavy last night, so hence why you're seeing the bit of water there, the bit of effluent running out of it. But yeah, that's why it's out, to sort out that little problem that we had. So as I say, when we get the pipe back into it, we'll spread some of that silage back right around it, and then mix whatever's left with the first few loads of grass that comes in, and that'll be it sorted. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at the minute with the silage prep. So pipe is in, just run it right around the wall, back into the track. Took it the whole way right up in the track, right up to the very top, and just here at this point, just cut a little square out of it, just to let any of the effluent back down and into the pipe that takes it away. So I might even get a little bit of a flat board and just set it over that and put a bit of grass on top of it. So at least that's done. All it means now is that plastic covers goes up the night before we start. So it's the moment of truth. We've hooked the harvester on and we're just going to give it a turn and see what it sounds like. I'm hoping that it should be alright. It was okay when it went in, so we'll see now when we give it a run. So we have it in 1,000 just for running it. We'll give her a twist and see what happens. No, she sounds pretty good. Chains, I will pull it outside and oil the chains just before we start. But other than that, it sounds 100%. There's a couple of the pickup tines probably have a few little bends in them, so that's pretty normal after a wet year. So look, you could start bending them back and trying to straighten them out, and you might get them straightened, but in most cases once you go to straighten them, they'll just break and you have to change them. So unless there's none of them sounds too bad, there's a couple of them just scraping slightly, so not too worried about them, they should be fine. Mower is on the 6930, so it's ready to go, and now all that's left is just hook on the smaller mower on the 3650. I'll do that in the morning, and I'll just check the blades on it, grease it up, and we should be ready to go. It's been drying out the last number of hours. Rained heavy enough last night. It is Tuesday. Rained quite heavy last night, a few showers during the day, but good drying. It's quite warm, and you can see the ground is drying. The grass wouldn't be just 100% dry yet, but it would be getting there. So we'll see. Doesn't do much rain overnight. Maybe start mowing tomorrow afternoon, and we'll maybe start lifting Friday. That's the plan. If we can pull it all together, we'll just see how it works out. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching the video. I'll be making a video as we're doing the mowing and lifting, and just on an update on how things is going on that, and we'll have that probably maybe at the weekend, could be early next week. I'll see. It just depends how we get on with everything, but yeah, it'll be the next video that you'll see. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.